Okay, let's go.
He wants to jump
1,000 cars. Sir, you have 1,000 cars.
I don't think I'd attempt to try this stunt.
Or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam. Too many
Car. You know, roses would be...
Like I put my beer belly on it.
If you can't immediately tell somebody how many cars you have.
You'll really give those uppity yuppies something to think about.
Stay on the bar. Don't go off the bar with your Bronco. 1980 Volvo horns. What's right? I want the man's coolant.
And he's like, oh, I thought it'd be small. It's for a small car. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still an automatic transmission. They're never going to be light.
It's definitely going to have to crash.
Starting off with Brad buying another car.
That's the West. Internet.
You know, is this a Nigerian oil print?
I also wish you drove a tan Camry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's a
horrible,
very
horrible podcast content.
very
Talking about a picture.
inside joke.
It loves to be driven hard.
Welcome to another episode of Auto Off Topic. Hello, Brad.
Good evening, Andrew.
Good evening to you.
It's later evening for you.
It is later evening for me, but we got it going on. What do you got going on?
What do I got going on? Well, I was just watching the Celtics, so that was where my evening was.
Oh, right. They are in the playoffs, aren't they? And I believe the Bruins are too. And
Bruins are playing tomorrow night, I think.
Yeah, they're making a big deal
here.
of like how they'd like flip the guard in like 17 hours or something for one of the lineups.
I'm not the biggest hockey guy, so I don't really know what's going on. I know that Boston's leading the series over the Maple Leafs. That's Toronto, right? I think so.
I think so. I know they couldn't finish out the series last night at home or something.
Yeah, but I am a big basketball guy, as probably mentioned on here before, and obviously growing up there, I'm a big Celtics fan. So the Celtics actually just sealed the first round a couple minutes ago by a routing of 118-84. So it was a good game. Well, it wasn't a great game. It was good for the Celtics, but it was not exactly an exciting game. So that's the way the whole playoff was. Every playoff game, even the one they lost, I think at some point they led by at least 20 points. So tonight at one point they led by like 34. So it was a very one-sided series. Miami had to play to get into the series, and then they had injuries. And anyway, this isn't a basketball podcast, but I'm just excited about basketball.
I was going to say, I don't think we talked about the last two Cup races. I don't think we talked about
basketball.
Talladega.
We talked briefly about Talladega.
We did?
Yep. We can skip over Talladega. All
right.
We talked a little bit about it. And then last weekend was what? Darlington,
yeah.
And Denny Hamlin
Dover.
won?
Sorry.
Dover. Yep. That's the one. The other D town.
Another short track.
And and Hamlin won.
Yeah. I guess, a little redemption for that weird all Toyota wreck at Talladega.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we definitely talked about it because we talked about that. So, it was actually not a terrible race.
No.
There wasn't a ton of passing, but it was still pretty entertaining. It was definitely a strategy race. And it's interesting because Hamlin called it on his podcast before he raced. He said, I'm going to win this weekend. He doesn't normally do that. And he went out and won. So after the race, he did the Babe Ruth called shot to the audience with the flag. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. He has just the right level of arrogance to be a successful NASCAR driver. It's not to the point where it's annoying.
He can back it up though, because he's been around. He's won a lot.
Oh, no question.
So it's not like false bravado.
No. He's already won 3 races this year.
Yeah,
that's a lot of races. There's still 25 to go.
And his team co-owner, Jordan was kind of famous for that. Like, he wasn't, he knew he was good.
Sure.
Wouldn't necessarily he wouldn't boast too much, but he would.
Yeah, just a little bit. Just the right amount. Just the point where it's not aggravating, but it happens. So I see you trying to turn the podcast back around to basketball again. Good job. So anyway, basketball.
Oh yeah, that's the tie-in. That's the tie-in.
That is the tie-in because we're talking about the Celtics. So you can't talk about the Celtics without talking about Larry Bird, and you can't talk about Larry Bird without talking about Michael Jordan. It's
But
all tied together.
I mean, that's 2 Toyota victories in a row.
Yep.
I know there's been Chevy victories because Hendrick cars have won.
Sure.
I'm trying to think. Have any Fords won?
Doesn't Christopher Bell drive a Ford?
No, I thought he's a Toyota.
Oh yeah, maybe.
I don't think any Fords have won yet this year. They've been fast. McDowell almost won and then put it in the wall. But anyway.
Bell does drive a Toyota.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter because they're all the same damn car anyway. Just slightly different bumper shapes.
But they are somehow different. Still, it's weird.
Mostly in the shape of the bumper that causes all of the difference, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's weird. And I don't know. A lot of guys just don't. I don't know. Some of the older guys, like you always hear. Kyle Busch is always complaining about the car, but I don't know. Jimmy Johnson can't get used to it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird. Jimmy Johnson, dominating performance in his previous career, comes back this year and he can't get out of like 33rd place. Ford has not won a race in 29 races.
Yeah, but he's not slow in other cars. Like he's done sports car races and he's fast.
Yeah. He just something about this car he can't seem to figure it out. So 29 races. That's a long time.
I know, and it's funny. I'll get suggested posts now for like different races, and I don't know. Like some fans complain about them too. They don't like the cars the way they race now. I guess I don't know. I think the racing is pretty good.
So
it's a little different.
NASCAR fans are fickle, and every time there's a minor change, NASCAR fans complain. NASCAR fans are very. I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. They're very stuck in the old times. And anytime you change anything, they get mad. Like when they went to the single lug, they were mad. They went to independent suspension, they were mad. They went to fuel injection, they were mad. Like they get mad about everything. So they went to the car tomorrow, they got mad. I got mad. That car was terrible. But
no one's terrible.
They just get mad about everything. So they put more road course races on, they got mad. They went to dirt track, they got mad. So there's no way to please NASCAR fans. You just got to keep doing it and bringing new fans in and just hope that it works. And so far it's working because NASCAR has some of the highest viewership that it's had in decades. So
they do need tires that will wear. So
you saw what's happening for the All-Star race, right?
Yeah, they're going to run. They're going to allow them to run different compounds or give them a choice.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 different compounds and they can run at different times during the race so they can...
All right, test it out.
Make more competition.
Race.
Yeah, exactly. The best place to test it out is a non-points race, right? So,
yeah, I mean that's where they figured out that the wet tires worked, and they like gripped really, really well. And then, like as soon as it dried, they were like really, really sticky, and then almost instantly wore out because they're insanely soft.
I was actually listening to Hamlin talk about the tire compound choices. Because it's going to be at North Wilkesboro, which is where the All-Star race is. The All-Star race in NASCAR to me is funny because it's just all the drivers, pretty much. Like,
yeah,
it's just a non-points race in the middle of the season.
Yeah, it's not like other sports where you actually pull people from different teams.
Yeah. All-Star race should be like the top 10 points people, and then they should pull like different crew chief.
If there's retired guys that want to run for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Like how fun would it be to watch like, Mark Martin run or something like.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess Harvick's going to run in the All-Star race.
He's going to qualify Larson's car. I don't
Oh, is that
know.
what's
Is he
happening?
going to run the race?
I thought he was maybe going to run a different car. I don't know. I don't know, because
He's only a
Larson
year
has... Yeah, that's true. Larson has conflicting schedules with IndyCar testing or something, or qualifying.
Yeah.
So, anyway. It'll be fun to watch. At least that'll give it a reason to watch the race to see how the tire stuff does pan out. But yeah, I was listening to Larson talk about it, and he was saying that he's glad they're doing it there because the way the tires are right now, he said that race would probably be pretty boring, like follow the leader, because there'd be no passing and it'd be terrible. So,
yeah.
Hopefully this mixes it up a little bit. So,
and that's really all fans want. They want passing. And that's all the drivers want, because they want the chance to win by doing different things.
Yeah.
And by, I mean, doing different things like getting the car, like if you can move the car around the track and find different grooves, then yeah, you have a chance at winning. So
yeah, if there's one fast groove, nobody can pass anybody, and the only way to pass is in the pits.
Mm-hmm.
And while that's interesting from a strategic point, it's not as interesting from a racing point. I mean, and also, like, this year, the tires have been so good that there haven't even been crashes.
Oh, yeah.
And not that we're looking
crazy,
for crashes,
right?
but there aren't any crashes to break the race up.
Yeah, like, if it wasn't for stage breaks, oh my gosh, it'd be ridiculous. Yep. You'd have like race length records, like shortness records.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, a little bit of NASCAR news that I'm pretty stoked on, and I know you saw this because I think you shared it with me. The Brad Keselowski car for the upcoming race at Darlington.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So one of his main sponsors is Castrol. And Castrol is bringing out the old school iconic Castrol Japanese car livery that they ran in the JGTC Supra, and they ran on the WRC Celica and Corollas. Kind of like just like swoopy green and red lines.
Yep.
So that'll be really cool to see. It's weird that it's a Ford, but that's just how the sponsorships fall, I guess. Like, Castrol doesn't happen to sponsor a Toyota, so they got to put it on a Ford.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
It's cool that it's Brad Keselowski, because I like the guy because his name's Brad. And also because he drives for Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing. So, like, there's a connection to Boston there, and his name is Brad. So, and now he's going to drive the Castrol car, which I hope that they make a diecast of, because I'll buy that. That's cool.
They should. He's a pretty popular driver.
I'm sure they will, because that's why they're doing it anyway, to sell more merch, right?
Yeah. There's a Moon Eyes car in the Xfinity series.
Yeah, I'm also stoked on
series?
that. Yeah, it's Xfinity.
Xfinity, yeah.
Yeah, I'm also stoked on that. It's specifically Moon Eyes Japan, too.
Yes, I'm blanking on his name, but it's a Japanese driver.
Right. I'd have to look it up, but I don't remember it either, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's cool, though.
Yep. It's iconic look, too. Like, it's just a black and yellow Moon Eyes car.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. His name is Ikenori Ogata.
Yeah.
And it's a black and yellow Camry. Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm. It's not a Camry because it's Xfinity, so it's a Supra. So.
Weird.
Yep. Which makes more sense, honestly. I don't know why they don't run a Supra in the Cup Series, because it's the competition of the Camaro and the Mustang. Like, it's still weird to me.
Yeah, I'm cross-shopping my Mustang with non-existent Camaro against Camrys.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And I mean, honestly, the Supra in Xfinity is barely a Supra anyway, because it has the roof line of a 97 Taurus. So
yeah,
it all is kind of it's all kind of a joke, but whatever. Yeah, I like the Moon Eyes. The livery they pulled up is really good. So I'm stoked on that. And I love anything Moon Eyes. You know, a lot of quote unquote car people love the Golf livery. I love anything Moon Eyes. So I'm into it. I have a
Yeah.
bunch of Moon Eyes diecasts, so I'll have to buy that too to go with those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a Moon Eyes endurance car with I have it, one of the
AMG GTRs.
AMG cars.
Yeah, they do a
Mercs.
They do a NASCAR now. They do a endurance car. They have drag racing cars. They have their hands in a lot of things. So,
And it's funny because they're more like these days. I mean, they still sell some old school hot rod stuff, but like it's not a lot of modern stuff. It's more like merch for like modern stuff. This is funny.
they still have most of their original products.
Yeah, I mean that's cool.
Yeah,
But like it's not. It's mostly turned into like merch, which is a lot of older brands. Like you just want to wear
Sure.
the t-shirts.
yeah,
Which
sure.
is fair, fine.
Yeah, but they still cater to the old hot rod crowd.
Yeah.
The company would have failed and folded years ago if it wasn't purchased by a Japanese businessman who loved the brand, and he kept
Yeah.
it going in California and in Japan. But even in California, they still do the Moon Eyes car show every year, and it's still a pre-72 or pre-73 or whatever car show of mostly traditional hot rods and whatnot. But the Moon Eyes show in Japan, because it's in Japan, is open to stuff later than that, and a lot of Japanese cars get the traditional Moon Eyes treatment now, which is really cool. Which it's actually the direction I planned on going with the Corolla wagon, because it really fits the Moon Eyes Japan aesthetic. Just have to make it run
So-
again first.
So what would that be on that car?
The Japan aesthetic, Moon Eyes Japan aesthetic.
Yeah,
It would be
Like-
simple little
like
things.
surf style.
Yeah, well, you do. So my plan, I don't know if I've ever talked about it before, but my plan with that car is to do the Metal Flake gold, yellow gold Metal Flake steering wheel with the matching
Okay.
shift knob.
Yep.
Get rid of the fender mirrors and do a little
Yep.
chrome like bullet mirror on the door.
Okay.
And then just little accessories, the blinds in the rear windows. That's why I bought the wooden beads for the seats, because they kind of have that surf aesthetic to them. And then just the little accessories like the Moon Eyes, topper on the antenna. They put the Moon Eyes in the bottoms of the fenders in the front, the stickers, and the footprint, the barefoot gas pedal, all the just traditional Moon Eyes tchotchke stuff. That's kind of the Moon Eyes quote unquote style. So nothing drastic, just little cool things. And they make a dash pad for the car that covers the cracked dash, and it has the Moon Eyes stitched into the passenger side corner.
Oh,
which is
that's cool.
Yeah. So that's to me the Moon Eyes aesthetic in Japan. A lowered car with some little accessories on it. It'll be a conversation every time I go to a, sorry for the lack of a better term, but boomer show here in America, because people will be like, what does Moon Eyes stuff doing on a Corolla? Because obviously the older crowd isn't familiar with the Moon Eyes Japan stuff, but I think it'll be cool. That's the eventual plan for the car. So, and then I was going to do maybe, if I ever spent some money on the car and did some paint, I was going to metal flake the roof. Just kind of like a traditional custom style, but on an 80s Japanese car. So.
Yeah. If you ever, because for whatever reason they don't make it right now, which is strange because they make like a lot of their older stuff. If you ever see a Moon Eye spare tire cover, I'm looking for one for the Montero, because they have there's older pictures of Moon Eye stuff on 90s 4x4s, Japanese 4x4s. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That's rad. I'm sure we can locate one eventually.
That's why I put the 7-inch fog covers on the front.
Yep.
Because it's just like very Japanese to put it on 4x4s as well.
Yeah, no, it's super cool, and I kind of want to tie it all together with the Corolla eventually. That's the plan, but I'm not spending any money on that car until I move some other cars out of here. So once that happens, we'll get some money back into the Corolla. So, and then
speaking of getting cars out of there,
maybe getting changed. Yeah,
my Volvo got picked up.
it did. It is gone.
The only update I had was that it's getting picked up. I have no other updates.
Yeah, I probably got the same email you did. So I was asking him where it's going first because he didn't pick it up on a cross-country trailer. He picked it up on a single-car trailer.
Yeah, which was interesting.
Well, he
That's
said
unusual.
He said, especially being a non-runner, he likes to have it loaded up last, or he likes to be able to load it one time, basically, and put it on the truck in the order which is going to come off. So rather than have to move it around a bunch. So that's why he picked it up with a single car trailer. So that he can load up the rest of the trailer and then put it on where it makes the most sense. So that was the reasoning for that. I've also had that happen before when I shipped the McCore out here. It was picked up on a single car trailer and then brought to the depot where the big truck was. So it's not unheard of, so I'm not worried about it. The dude seemed super nice, super knowledgeable. He was surprised how big the car was because he heard 69 Volvo and he thought P1800.
Oh, okay.
He didn't know they made a 1 series, 2 series size car in the 60s. So he was like, oh, it's much bigger than I thought. And I was like, is that going to be a problem? He's like, no, it's just bigger than I thought. So I think he thought it was going to be like, a P1800, which is what I'd say TR6 sized, not a very big car.
I feel like P1800s are not that small either. Like
maybe they just look small.
They're not wide. They're like long.
Yeah, maybe they just look small. But anyway, my work car Camry was parked behind it when he came and picked it up, and I was like, well, it's obviously a small car compared to that. And he's like, oh yeah, it's definitely small. It's just bigger than I expected. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's lightweight and it rolls easy, so you're fine.
It's bigger than your Colt, which is funny.
It is. It dwarfs the Colt. It's not funny. The Colt's a small car.
Yeah.
Like a very small car. So, yeah, so he picked it up. Super nice guy. He runs back and forth between Phoenix and Boston all the time. So I got his contact info, and we can always just call him directly if we ever want anything, and maybe even get a better price because we're not going to deal with the middleman of the
interesting. All right,
the truck company. Yep, that's the way to do it. Like the last guy I had do it, I didn't like enough to do that, so I didn't bother. But this guy seems pretty legit. Like he was super nice. He was like super accommodating to everything we wanted to do. The only thing that happened, and I told you this over text message, was he wouldn't let me leave the battery in the car. The battery was dead anyway, so it didn't matter. But I was trying to leave the battery in the car so you could at least have your $20 core. But it did not have a tie down. And he said that he won't ship an old car with a battery without a tie down because many years ago he had one flip over in transit inside the car. And it dumped acid out all over the car below it. And he wound up having to eat the paint job out of pocket.
Oh, yeah.
So he doesn't want that to ever happen again. So he's very conscientious about batteries and battery tie downs. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, that's what I said. Fair enough. If it was a good battery, I would have found a way to grab a ratchet strap or something. But it wasn't worth the effort for the $20 core. So you lose the battery. Sorry, Andrew.
No, it's fine.
So other than that, everything's cool. So I did notice that it was dripping a little fuel when it was at an angle on the trailer, going on the trailer. So you'll have to look into that. My guess is the filler neck is rubber. And my guess is that it was leaking out of the filler neck. So.
Oh, okay.
It never did in my driveway. So I never even noticed it. And maybe it was actually, honestly, maybe it was dripping out of the fuel line that was disconnected. I don't know. But a little bit of fuel leaking. So, old car stuff. But my guess is the filler neck. Not disconnected. Those overflows.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It would be maybe the overflows on the carbs.
Yeah. So maybe it's coming from there, but I thought it was coming out of the back of the car. But I guess it could have leaked from the front of the car, and then I didn't notice it until I saw the back of the car. So maybe it's not. Again, I'm not worried about it. So, but yeah, it should be to you at some point next week. So
yeah, I don't know.
That's all
I'll figure it out.
Maybe you'll have
hopefully they give me an email like that's not like an hour before it's being picked up or dropped off.
You'll know. You can call. So I've used the same company before, the same broker. You can call them and get an update for sure. So
yeah,
I'd
I just want to know.
I'd
just give
maybe
me
call
a
them
rough-
Monday and be
Yeah.
like, "Hey, what's the rough idea?" So that maybe you could plan a work from home day or something.
Exactly. I'll
make
just
sure
work
you're
from
there.
home whatever day it's happening.
Yeah.
Because that's not a problem if it's an hour. Like if I get an hour's notice if I'm already home.
No, of course. Yeah, they should be able to give you. They should be able to lock down to a day. So they didn't give me much notice, but he also was like, "If that's okay," he said, and I was like, "Yeah, I can make it home." So because this was Monday this week, and it was like he called me at probably 10 in the morning. So I was like, "Yeah, I can get home, no problem at all." So I was able to.
Yeah, I mean, I gave him a range. I didn't think it would be like the first day in the range, but
Hey, can't complain about that though, right? That's efficiency. So
yeah. Now, things that are not efficient. I went to the registry and registered the car.
yeah, well, that's never been efficient.
Which I don't know. I have the worst luck with the Mass RMV. I don't know what it is.
I don't think you have the worst luck. I think they're just the worst. Period.
I mean, they gave me a lot of trouble with the '89 Montero. And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm already pushing it with this weird Alaska title. Because anytime you take a title that's out of state in Mass, they're like weird about it.
Yeah, they're like, "Where did this come from?" I'm like, "Alaska. It's another one of the 50 states." Like, it's not that. Not
It's
that
the title
difficult.
signed. How I don't know how else I can prove to you, like, because you don't like Mass doesn't have a bill of sale form that you can use. Like, it's like,
Yeah, they did away with that a few years ago. I mean, I'm sure you remember the story of me trying to register the stupid NSU. Like, I went in
I don't
there.
think they ever had the bill of sale thing. You would just make one up. You just like write it on a piece of paper. Would be
Right,
fine.
but they stopped accepting them years ago.
Yeah.
I remember with my NSU, I went in there and I had a Massachusetts title from the previous owner. It was the original
owner.
1971 title. And they were like, "We don't know what to do with this." I was like, "It's a Massachusetts title. Like, it's not in the system." I'm like, "Of course it's not. There's no computer." 1971. Like, and that was the one that after it was like 2 or 3 days of fighting with them, they finally registered it. And they handed me my plates and they handed me motorcycle plates. And I was like, "What is this?" And they're like, "Well, it's a motorcycle." And I was like, "No, it's a car." Like, well, it's called a 1200. Yeah, it's a really small car, but a really big motorcycle. So
Yeah.
they were not happy with that either. So the main reason for my issue then, though, was they didn't know what to charge me for tax. That was the main holdup. And I was like, "Well, I paid $1,000. Well, it's not worth $1,000. I'm like, "Well, that's what I paid. We need to find out what it's really worth." Okay, have at it.
All right. Good
Yeah.
luck.
Good luck. And eventually they were like, "All right, we're going to charge you sales tax of $1,000. I was like, "We could have done this 2 days ago, 2 trips ago, but hey, it's cool." So,
Yeah, I wrote the 2,800 on there, and that's what they did. That's what she charged me for sales tax was for that. There was no question on that. I have been questioned on that before.
yep.
Like, basically
You got lucky.
the Mirage. She pretty much gave it to me,
Yeah.
and I did the affidavit for no sales tax, and the lady was like, "Oh, I wish people would give me cars." I was like, "Lady, it's a '95 Mirage with 200,000 miles on it."
Yep. Yeah, I had pretty much the same conversation when I got my first Cressida. Claudio gave me the car, and I went in with the affidavit, and she's like, "This is bullshit." Not bullshit. She's like, "This isn't real. Nobody gets free cars." I was like, "Yeah, well, this one deserves to be free." So
Yeah, it's like, listen, if it's 2024, and I'm getting a free 2018 car, then yeah, come investigate me for tax fraud.
sure.
But if you're getting a free car from 1986 and
Yep.
it's been 30 years,
Yeah, exactly.
like, come on.
Yeah, this was probably when did I get that car? Probably 2004.
And it's
It was an 85. So yeah.
it's not like you were I was gifted, a 65 Ferrari, whatever.
Sure.
Right.
The
Like
95 Mirage.
something that would be like a tax shelter, like
Yep.
it's the blue chip car or something.
Yep.
So weird. I don't know. And then, so basically, I thought I was pushing it a bit. I was like, I'm going to be pushing it, trying to get it. For one, it's an old car with a short VIN. At least I have a real title. I thought they were going to give me trouble about the reconstructed title. But I was like, I want to get manufacturer plates, or not manufacturer plates, year of manufacturer plates.
You're right.
Which, according to Massachusetts rules, those are for cars 1978 and older.
Yes.
And they must be antique cars, which anything older than 1978, the rule in Massachusetts for antique cars 25 years. So
Right.
well past it with 1978.
Yeah, the reason they use 78 is because they stopped issuing different plates in 78, I guess, right?
In 1978, they started issuing the white plate with green letters, which a lot are still in circulation because people have held on to them because you don't need a front plate. That was the first, or it was 1979 was the first year of those. All of the plates up to 1966 are stamped with the year. And in 1967, they came out with a Massachusetts plate that is white with blue lettering and has Massachusetts across the top. And from 67 to, I think, 72 or 73 or something, I don't have the sheet in front of me, they're all that color scheme. And then they switched to white with red letters, Massachusetts on the bottom. From 1967 till 78, they have no numbers stamped on them. And it tells you in the instructions for applying that these are legal plates to use as long as they are no longer in use. Fair enough, right? I can't register a plate that's somebody still has on their car somehow.
Yeah, you can't have 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plates.
Because I'm looking at, I've got my wall here. My dad's had this low number plate since the 70s. He has a red version and the green plate version I've got hanging up. And then he had them replaced at some point in the 90s with the current version of plates.
Sure.
So there was likely a white with blue one version maybe at some point. So it is possible that you could have kept those plates. And what's the crazy thing is I saw a few weeks ago, I was on the interstate here and I saw like a 2013 like Ford Taurus or something, the new Taurus with a white plate with red lettering.
Interesting.
And I was like, how is that possible? But I suppose if you've kept the plate and kept transferring it and it was still in good shape.
Yep. Yeah, you can keep transferring the plate from car to car.
Yeah. That's the only way you could have it on a modern car. So anyway, it says in the rules that you're allowed to use a plate from the year of manufacture, but not the following year, but anything previous.
Sure.
So I found a plate that on eBay for like $30. That was pretty cool. Did my research. I'm like, all right, this plate's definitely from like 67 through 70 through 70.
And the car is a 69, so it fits perfectly with the year of manufacturer.
And it had one single. So at that point, when they stopped stamping the numbers, they started issuing stickers like they do now for 2-year registration. And I was looking at this plate once I got it. It had a single registration sticker on it from 1971, which means it was issued
in 1969.
And it was probably on a car that got wrecked and ended up in somebody's collection or whatever, and they were selling it on eBay. There was only one plate. So first she's like, "Where'd you get the plate?" I was like, "Well, on eBay." Okay. So she's like, "Well, we can use it if it's not being used." I'm like, "Yep, I understand that.
Yeah, I've looked into this.
That is a rule. I'm not going to argue that." But then she like called over the lady next to her to like double check, quote unquote, the plates.
Now we're in trouble.
The lady's like, "Oh, it doesn't have it stamped on here." I'm like, she's like, "We're not sure if you can use these." Like, well, you can according to rules. She's like, "I know the rules."
No, you don't.
okay, it doesn't sound like you do. I'm just trying. I'm like, have them right in front of me. I'm like, it says right. She's like, nope, I just didn't want to listen to me. I was like, okay, fine. So then they had to call someone else in some other department. I don't know what that means. Because after she had already checked with the manager,
Some other
the manager
department. What other
didn't say
department is
anything
there,
about
man?
she had already the woman that was helping me had already checked with some other manager and she's like, well, she didn't say anything about the color of the plate. She just said, oh, they only had single plates sometimes back then. So like it seemed like I was about to get it, and then the woman working next to her like messed me over here.
Let me get something from another department. Hey, janitor, what can we do over here with these
Yeah.
plates?
So then I waited like an hour.
Ugh.
And then she's like, yeah, we can't do this plate. And they're like, because it's not stamped with the year. I'm
Well,
like,
there
that
aren't
doesn't
any.
matter. I'm like, so you're telling me that you can only issue them up to 1966, even though your rules say it's good to 78? And they're like, yeah, it's not stamped. I'm like, okay, fine. So I just have regular plates for it. That's just my annoying story where
It sounds
just
like you should go to a different
I have to
DMV.
figure out. I can
Can you do it
mail them
online?
in, or maybe I can make an appointment at a different registry. I don't know how you get someone who actually understands. It's like like a just an agency that is just crushed under its own bureaucracy of not understanding its own rules.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like I'm
it's
not
a
trying to pull a
shame.
fast one over on you here.
It's
This
a
is
shame.
literally, it says what I can do.
It's a shame it's not allowed to be privatized out there. Like here we have state-run, we call it the MVD, the Motor Vehicle Department, or Motor Vehicle Division. I don't know, whatever, it's MVD. We have state-run MVDs, and we also have third-party MVDs. So we can go to a non-state-run one, and it usually costs a couple extra dollars per transaction, but there's usually no wait to go there, and you can usually just, I don't want to say you can do anything, but they're a little less scrutineering about things. So,
Well, I'm like staring at. I've got a nice 1966 stamped one. Like I'm like I should have brought that, but it's like kind of weird because it's like green. It's like for 66. It's like, so that would have been okay.
no,
It's
because
just
it
strange.
expired in 68.
Yeah, it would never have been issued in 68 unless it was
Yeah.
left over somehow.
Hmm.
Which they must have stopped stamping them year to year because it was probably like costly.
Yeah, because you issue new plates every 2 years versus a sticker. Like that makes
They didn't
way
issue
more
new plates
sense.
every single year versus a sticker. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. So yeah,
I
I think
don't-
you'll get it. I think you'll get it done. I just think it's one of those things where you need to get the right person, or maybe find a way to do it online.
Yeah, and I think now I have to like do another like form and so I was like, I'll just wait till I have the title. I don't want to mess anything up. Like it's in process of being converted to a Massachusetts title. I don't want to
Right.
like screw that up.
Yeah. Let's not do too much right now.
Yeah, like one task at a time for these people because it's clearly too difficult
Yep.
to think a little bit outside of the normal. Because I'm sure maybe once a year somebody comes in asking for year manufacturer plates.
It's probably
So
more than
not-
once a year, but it's also probably not common. So
Yeah,
I can
it's
do it
just
here
like-
too. I haven't tried yet.
Well, it's like with that Craig Don't Tell Me last week. That was a 77 Granada that had the white with red letter plates. So that had year manufacturer plates.
With no stamping.
No stamping.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, the thing that gets me, and not to get too like,
Anti-government
in the
podcast
weeds
time.
here. Yeah, it's just I'm not. I don't care about the fees. Like, just I'll pay. Just do the thing I'm asking for. I'll pay you for it because it's not even that expensive. It's like the regular plates were like 60, but these, it's like some fee and then another fee. It's like $50 to like do these, and basically they have the same rules of like antique plates. We're only supposed to use it for like, going to car shows and parades and whatever crap they say, which is
I thought they
annoying, but
expanded the antique plate use in Massachusetts.
they did not.
Because I thought the
Um,
hang up was the insurance company, not the plate, usually.
That's their rules for the plates, but we know nobody ever abides by that, and you're not going to get busted on it because it's just like
No.
unless a police officer sees you probably driving an antique car every single day on the same route, they would
Sure.
probably question you. But
And they cared.
you know,
It's a combination
Yeah,
of
and
two
they
things
cared.
had to happen. Yeah.
but not a lot of people do that. It's it's just like not really that abused, I don't think.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to a parade. How many parades are you going to? Like, let's stop.
Yeah. But it's just like I just want, like, you offer this thing, I followed your rules, I'm willing to pay for it, just please let me have it. I'm not asking for anything illegal here. I'm just asking you to do the thing that you offer,
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
service that you
It's like
offer.
going to Walmart and they're like, sir, you can't buy that bottle of Coke. What? Well, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not in your cart the right way. You can't buy it.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
basically
weird.
what happened to you. God, that's frustrating.
So whatever. Yeah, I'll figure it out at some point, and
Well, it's incredibly frustrating, and I feel for you. But car at least is somewhere in transit. So
yeah, and it's registered, and insured. So like that's half the battle. Like it's
yep, and it's also insured
just
by
don't
the carrier
want-
as well. So
yeah, it's nice on an old car like that to just not have a front plate. It just looks so much nicer, and to have a vintage plate that sort of matches the look of the car.
yeah, it's all about the aesthetic, right? I mean, that's half of the.
Because
That's probably more than half of the reason we like old cars. We like how they look.
I've talked about it many times. For whatever reason, the current Massachusetts plate that's been around since the 90s is, I think, one of the ugliest license plates I've ever seen. I don't
It's
know
just
what it is
boring.
about it.
It's just boring.
Yeah, it's just
And the way the current
Maybe-
plates are with the number letter combination, it's not even either. And I think that makes me more irked than anything else.
I think I'm looking at the ones I have on the wall. Like the stamped Massachusetts is so much more attractive than the printed one that's got like
Yeah.
almost like it's almost a serif font
Yep.
versus just
Yeah.
these like machine stamped.
And I didn't hate the combination of letters and numbers when it was 4 numbers, 2 letters. It looked right. But now
Yeah.
it's like 2 numbers, a letter, and then a letter and 2 numbers or something like that, or whatever it is. Or it changes all the time now. I don't even know what the current one is.
And it's like you don't even get, they just give you whatever plates left over sometimes.
Yep.
Like it was the end of April and I got March plates.
That's weird.
So it's like, so that means they expire
Less
in,
than 2 years.
like 23 months. Yeah.
Yep. Well, it used to be way more specific because I remember when I got my first or second car registered and the guy who was in the registry with me, like not with me, like the same time as me, like we were just chatting or whatever. And we were walking out and we had sequential numbers on our plates, like just because we were in line behind each other. And I used to see his car driving around town all the time. But now you go there and the numbers don't even make sense. Like there's no sequence to them. It's just like
Didn't we,
they make these plates and just throw them in a big pile.
You and I registered cars like once a couple days apart and ended up with like plates that were really close.
They're really close. Yeah. I don't remember what plates
the
they
plate
were.
I have
but
on the
remember
Talon.
It was your Talon and
Yeah, the second time around when I registered the Talon.
yeah,
I lost my very first plates I had. I still have them, but
maybe it was
I don't have
one of
them in
my
my cars.
conquests.
but
Yeah, I still have my first plates.
Yeah,
They're
it's
on
like-
the garage wall, 9990 EG.
yeah, that was a good plate.
Yep.
But your grandmother worked there, so you got the hookup.
I remember it specifically because I had that, and I remember our good friend Keith had 1975 WH, and I should remember
Yeah.
those 2 plates forever.
And like
That is not my password anywhere, guys. So don't even try.
the I set up like you just messed me up. What was I thinking of? The oh my gosh. Plates.
Excuse me.
Gosh.
License plates, hang up plates, set them up somewhere.
Oh, I just lost the thought that I had. But it was gosh darn it.
Anyway, moving on.
Oh no, no.
Racer.
It's I got when I bought the Volkswagen, the All-Track, right, in December, and I went to the registry because I had to do it myself because I bought it in New Hampshire, so I had to go to the mass registry. And what month do you think that car has on it?
You bought it in December?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. June.
It has October plates.
Yeah, it's annoying. That's almost 3 months off. Yeah. Yep, that's annoying. But they don't prorate it either, obviously.
Nope.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, the Galant was I first registered that in like April. It's got February plates.
And then it doesn't even line up with your inspection sticker either, which is even more annoying. Because you got to remember two different things.
I think the Talon was, I didn't even register it in like April. I registered in like early spring and somehow ended up with April plates.
Yeah.
Like they just had them. It's so weird.
They just have a random stack of plates. But one thing I do remember
it's just totally
is when I lived in New Hampshire for a short period of time, your inspection sticker is always due on your birthday month.
It's on your birthday.
Yeah. I remember being mad, like, oh, thanks, state of New Hampshire. Happy birthday, Brad. Go get your inspection sticker. Pay us money.
Well, luckily you didn't have 10 cars when you lived in New Hampshire.
No, I only had one car registered there, but still.
Yeah.
It was frustrating. So, anyway.
So,
moving on.
Yeah,
so the Volvo's on its way.
That's
that's the moral of the story.
Yeah. And, my dad and I are excited to look at it and figure out why it's not running. So
hopefully it's simple. That's my my thought process as it is. I actually kicked myself because I have some of your dad's tools I was going to give back to him. I was going to put in the trunk, and I forgot. So I'll just bring him with me when I come back next month, or later this month. It is actually at this point, because today's the 1st, right?
Yeah.
It is. Yep.
So, you're talking about batteries. Maybe I talked about the battery bubbling up in the Galant. I replaced it. You believe I only got 12 years out of that battery?
Jesus.
I bragged enough times about it. And it finally, well, yeah, I would keep it on a tender when I wasn't using it.
Sure. Still pretty good.
Yeah, it was an Interstate. But
was it regular
so.
lead acid battery?
Yeah.
Good. That's 12 years.
It was Mitsubishi branded, but they were made by Interstate.
That's a good long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I ever got 12 years out of my battery, even when I lived there.
No,
definitely don't hear.
No, and hopefully, I bought an Optima so it doesn't leak because I like AGMs. It was not cheap, and hopefully it lasts okay.
I mean, honestly, a regular lead acid battery now isn't cheap either, so the price difference is negligible almost. It's probably like 30% more for that battery.
It's probably 50% more, but I like it because it doesn't leak acid, which corrodes things under the hood.
Yep.
So I actually haven't even started the car yet. I put it in there, and I bought a bottle of like fuel system cleaner, octane booster stuff, because I like open the gas cap and like just kind of smell. It does kind of smell like paint thinner a little bit. I was like, I don't feel like draining 10 gallons of gas.
Right.
Maybe I can throw some stuff in there and just see if it'll run well enough that I can.
You should be able to get through it. The gas isn't that old. It's not like 5 years old gas. It's about a year probably, right?
Yeah.
Should be all right.
We got a little drive coming up this weekend, a forenoon cup. So I think I'll try to take that car, see if it runs all right enough. And
you
that
should
will
probably take it out tomorrow then. Drive it around a bit.
Yeah, I got to do that tomorrow afternoon. It's annoying.
What did you take to the first?
I mean, it's not like I don't have something else I could use.
Yeah. Well, what did you take to the first forenoon cup? The G20.
Yeah, the alternate choice is the Talon.
Okay.
Plus I realized the tires on the Galant are from 2014. And
So they're fine.
Since I put the coilovers on it, I only did my home alignment. I didn't it's a little bit off. I'm like, well, I might as well just drive it and just burn those tires off.
Yep.
And then just have it aligned and have some new tires put on it. Like,
Well, I'm excited
I have this
to
weird
see
thing
photos.
where, I'll take a bunch of photos. But I was gonna say I have this weird thing, and maybe it comes from when I didn't have like a lot of money to spend on car stuff, about like not wearing tires out because I don't want to replace them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like a really weird hang up. I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna wear these tires out, and then I'm like, that's like one part of my brain, and the other part's like, yeah, and just replace them, like.
Well, that's like me with both the Cressida and the Sapporo. On both cars, I got them on wheels that I was not a huge fan of. And I was like, well, I can't replace these until these tires wear out. Even though I didn't like the wheels.
You could just do it.
But I couldn't. My brain wouldn't let me. And it's probably a very similar situation. Like, I, for years, never bought a brand new set of tires. I was always buying used tires for things. And I think that's part of the reason. Like, I got both cars. Actually, I think they both came with Yokohama S drives on them. Oh no, the Sapporo had Toyo somethings. Anyway, Toyo Proxies somethings. Anyway, but I was like, yeah, these tires are good. I shouldn't replace them because they're fine. And then I just drove on those ugly wheels until I was able to wear the tires out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And then meanwhile, I've gone through like 2 or 3 sets of like track tires. Like, it's
a different expense. It's a different thought process. Yeah, I mean, I have since not gone through a set of tires in a long time. I went through tires in the 944, but only because I blew one and couldn't get a matched set. And then buying a pair of those tires cost as much as buying the 4 tires that I bought. So I just bought 4 new tires. So, but other than that, I haven't worn on a set of tires and anything. I've only bought tires because I bought cars that needed them. And it's not like I don't drive. I put plenty of miles on things. The Cressida tires are finally worn out. They must be old because they came on the car when I first bought the car. And when was that? 2013, 2014, 2015?
Yeah. Because, I mean, S drives don't exist. They're Flevas. Fleva?
Yeah, they're S drives now.
Flevas?
The inside edge of the front tires are worn down because of the camber in the front. So just the very inside edge is worn down. Not to the point where they're bald yet, but they're getting close. So they need to be replaced. But I have a set of wheels that I had put aside to restore to put on the car when the tires wore out. So at least I have a plan.
Well, it sounds like it's time.
It is time, but the car will probably maybe come out of the garage 1 or 2 more times with the old wheels on it, and then I'll have the new wheels on it for next like full-on Arizona Phoenix car show season when it's a little bit cooler. So, and then what I'll probably do is just take those rotas and I'll probably put them on the 80 Cressida. It's in the backyard. Because that will need tires, and the plan is to hopefully daily that car. And if I'm going to daily the car, I'm going to want it on wheels that are replaceable. So just for anti-theft, or not anti-theft, but replacement if stolen thoughts. So any other project car stuff you've done, Andrew?
Yeah, so speaking of the Galant, I did start looking at, because I was like, oh, I gotta take the fuel line off. I can do the fuel system upgrades, which I'll still do. But then I was looking, I think I talked about this. I wanted to mount the fuel pressure regulator, and I didn't have the bracket, the OEM bracket that I like to use. So I was able to get one from Miller Import Car Parts, or whatever he's called. And I did some modifications to it, which basically just marking some holes, drilling them, throwing a couple of rib nuts in there. You could use the rib bolts if you wanted to, but I like rib nuts because I'm fancy.
Listen, one of the first tools I bought when I moved here was a rib nut gun because I enjoyed using the one at your house so much.
Man, when you need to mount something like you added a relay, or it's just like so much easier.
I did it for when I first moved here. I was working on that Toyota pickup, and I changed out to the GM style coil. I needed to mount the coil thing on the fender well, so I used rib nuts.
Yeah, so I took this bracket. It'll hold the fuel pressure regulator, and the top of it was the perfect size to hold the GM map sensor.
Oh, perfect.
For the conversion to speed density when I'm ready. So I don't have to mount that, because I was like, before I was looking at it, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just mount it. There's a nice spot on the firewall next to the VIN plate. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's kind of where I want to put the fuel pressure regulator. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'll use that bracket. So now I've got more space for the two things, and they go in a factory bracket, and I'll only have to drill one hole in the firewall to add a riv nut, and I can use an existing hole already there to hold the bottom of the bracket. And it's right where it needs to be to reach both things. So
perfect.
Yeah,
couldn't have worked out better.
If I can get the car to run well enough, I'm going to use it this weekend, and then I will take it apart after that. So
excellent.
That's all I've done on project car stuff, really.
Did a few things around here.
I haven't even taken the cover off the G20 yet. I got to get to that.
Did a few things around here. I went to start putting the Eclipse back together. You're welcome. And turned out that I had the wrong head bolts. So
yeah, that was weird. But
I don't even know what those head bolts are for.
That is the state of aftermarket parts these days.
Yeah. So I was quite frustrated because I basically prepped the top of the block, got it all cleaned up, all the old gasket material off, got it all smoothed out, looking brand new again. Laid on the head gasket, pulled the cylinder head out of the back of the car, put the cylinder head on, which is not easy. Just maneuvering that thing is definitely not a one-man job.
Yeah, it's probably 50 pounds. It's pretty heavy.
It's heavy and it's awkward. So thankfully Naomi was home and she was able to help me kind of guide it to where it belongs. So we got that over the pins, made sure the head gasket was, in there without being pinched or moved or anything weird, and dropped all the head bolts in, and then started to turn them down. And I was like, it's not catching at all. Why isn't it catching? So pulled it out, cleaned it. There wasn't anything weird on it. Put it back in, trying to turn again. It's not catching at all. I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. Why is this not catching? I'm clearly in the hole, doing like the turn it backwards, turn it forwards, trying to make it go. Took a lot of time and effort and was getting super frustrated and couldn't understand what the hell was happening. So eventually I took it out and I looked at it and I said, well, let me look at one of the old ones. So I pulled out one of the old ones and I was like, that looks significantly smaller. So I have one of those handy dandy thread sizer chart things. Like when you hang on the wall, it's got the threaded hole next to a bolt. So you can check nuts and bolts. And I checked the factory head bolts, which are 12 millimeter by 1.5 thread metric. And then I was trying to find out what size these bolts are, and they're 1/2 inch by 20 fine thread. Which doesn't make any sense because it's definitely not a Japanese car part. So I got frustrated. I went and looked at the box. The number on the box is incorrect, but the number I ordered is not incorrect. So got a little frustrated by that, but theoretically I should have the bolts here tomorrow, the correct ones, because I ordered them again. So I'll know by tomorrow if I have the correct ones or not. And if I do, the plan on Saturday is to put the car back together. So hopefully the car will be running by next podcast. Hopefully. Fingers crossed, knocking wood, all the things. Provided that the bolts come in correctly. So if not, I can get them local. They just cost a lot more money. So it's fine. I'll figure it out. So yeah, hopefully that'll be running. Anyway, in my disappointment, I was really close to just going in the house and shutting everything down for the day and not working anything else. But I pivoted and I started to put the interior back together in the Starion. I don't know why, Andrew. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's happening with the car. But I needed to be doing something productive and automotive related. So that's what I did. Realizing that I took the interior out of that car in like 2011 or 12. It was not simple to put it back together. Remembering what bolts went where. The most complicated thing on that car is the seat belts. Because the entire seatbelt assembly is attached to the door. So it mounts to the door in 4 places. And getting it all mounted with things in the correct direction was a bit of a challenge. But I had to take it apart and put it back together like 3 times, I think, during this process. But eventually I got it taken care of. And the seatbelts are now properly installed in the car. And then, after I had them properly installed, I realized I had to uninstall them to put the door panels on. So, at least I knew how they went. But, yeah, I managed to get the whole carpet back in. We cleaned it up really good first. So, I put the carpet in. I got the seats mounted. The passenger side door panel is 100% complete. It's 5 or 6 pieces total. They're all back on the car. The seatbelts all assembled on both sides. I need to finish installing the center console and the rest of the trim around the rear seat, and the car will be 100% together. And then I can clean the interior fully and hopefully have a radiator by then and start driving the car. So, one step at a time, but we're getting somewhere with it. While I was doing that, we have a bodyman friend coming by this weekend to take a look at the 68 Mustang rust repair situation for the part panels under the hood. So he asked us if we could do a little prep work ahead of time and take a wire wheel to the crusty, flaky parts, get it down as far as we can, and then treat it with some rust mort and just kind of see where it sits. So Naomi did that while I was working on the Starion. And we got that all looking as clean as it can be. And we have the replacement panel for the battery tray because of that pesky battery acid that you were just referring to. And that will be looked at this weekend so he can tell us if he can help us out or not. So I'm also going to have him look at the frame rail on the Corolla while he's here because that still needs to be pulled. This hasn't been done yet. And when she was done with that, she also helped me by shampooing the floor mats in the Starion as well. So big help on that front. Those look brand new. Except where the driver's side one is worn. The other 3 look like brand new. It's amazing. I know that car was like Mitsubishi's flagship at the time, but it's amazing how thick and like luxurious the carpets are in that car. It's borderline Mercedes BMW of the era, like that really deep, thick pile, like living room carpet inside the car. Very neat. It's probably why the car weighed so much. Stuff like that was so overdone. But it looks really good, and I'll be happy to get that car at least driving again. Again, I don't know what's happening with it. I haven't heard back from the previous original owner for a while. It seemed like he was pretty much ready to take it, and I haven't heard from him, so I just kind of went with the whole I'll keep working on it and playing with it until I hear from him again. So, and
yeah,
it's the kind of motivation I guess I needed to do something with it. So it runs up, starts great every time now, so that's good. I just need to get that radiator thrown in there so I can drive the car actually. So trying not to buy another car because now I have a space in the backyard. The Volvo's gone. But promised myself I wouldn't do that.
I was trying to help you out.
Yeah, hey, there's more
That's
space
my
there. That's for
contribution
sure.
to your Project Car updates.
That is for sure. There is a conversation about an old Mighty Max that was in my radar about a year ago and disappeared and is now back in my radar. So I'll have to sell some
Well,
more
you already
stuff.
have a pickup truck. You have a pickup truck at home.
Yeah, that pickup truck at home's got to go though because this Mighty Max is 4x4, which is the whole thing. Anyway, I'm not buying it yet, so it's fine. So yeah, that's my Project Car updates. I didn't do much beyond that. The interior of the car took most of the day on Saturday, Sunday. I don't remember what day it was anymore. It must have been Sunday. So yeah, it was a good productive day of not doing too many car events. There was a ton of stuff I wanted to do this weekend, and then I just was like, you know what? I have plenty of stuff to get done, so let's stick around the house and do some stuff. So plenty more weekends of other things to come in the future. That's all I got, Andrew. No other projects, no other updates.
Yeah, I don't have much else. I'm trying to do some stuff before that other coach shows up. I don't think I'll get much done, but we'll see. I realized I just had when I was looking at the fuel system parts, I had put a box together with a bunch of DSM parts I had in it, and I have 3D printed shifter bushings to rebuild all the shifters. I was like, oh, I meant to do that in the wintertime where I could just sit inside the car in the garage and do it.
Right.
And I never did any of those. So I've got that I could do. I've got a bunch of little stuff that I can do and I just sort of forgot about. So now I've been looking through those boxes. I'm like, oh, I should put this stuff in. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
But anyways, anything else? Nothing?
No, nothing at all.
Cool.
You get the forenoon cup
yeah.
coming up this weekend, so that's big. If you were in the Discord, you'd know about
Discord, you're invited. But you got to join the Discord. That's the only requirement. That's how easy it is.
Join the Discord.
It helps if you're in
Don't
New
be
England,
a jerk. Yeah.
But all you got to do is join the Discord. Not charging you anything. No fancy $1,000 rallies here.
No. Or more.
Yeah. No. It's cheap for a reason. Because we're cheap.
And by
It's
cheap,
fun.
I think you mean free.
Yeah.
The cheapest number.
But the companionship is what's the value.
Sure. It's not about the money, it's about the friends. Yeah,
Exactly.
As always,
I've got 200 friends.
Yeah. It's good cut right there. I, as always, like I was last year, I'm envious that's happening, and I have FOMO because I'm not there. But I hope that it goes off without a hitch, and we get some good pictures. I know, unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit smaller participant-wise this year, but that's okay. Just couldn't get the weekend that everybody had a free weekend, it seemed. Everybody was too busy this spring.
Well, the way I look at it, it just means I have to do them more frequently. I really shouldn't do them. There's no rule that says I have to do them once a year.
Correct.
We probably can't do them once a month, but we could probably do them, every
couple of months. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing pictures of the day and hear the stories of the day. So that should be a good one.
Yep.
So.
All right, cool. So you can follow us on Facebook, Out Off Topic Podcast, Out Off Topic on Instagram and Threads, and I am Race and Anger on Instagram and Threads as well. And Brad, where can they find you?
They can find me on Instagram and Threads at TSISS350. They can find us if we ever decide to post scale car stuff again on Scale Autocast on Instagram and Threads, I think, as well. And you can also, if you do not live in New England and you live somewhere near Phoenix and you drive an old Japanese car and you want to go on a driving rally, we are hosting one out here, not related to the podcast, just related to it in the fact that I am doing it. So you can look up AZ Rising Sun Rally with an E on the end of rally on Instagram or azrisingsunrally.com. That is not a podcast thing, but it is a Brad thing, and it's for pre-2005 Japanese cars happening in October of this year. So more information will be coming up on that hopefully soon. We had a meeting last night with me and two of the other people putting it on, and we'll have more. Basically, you can sign up for it probably next week. So follow those sites and you'll see where that is at.
All right, cool. As
That
always.
one's not free, but it's also not a lot of money.
No.
But also includes dinner.
It's inexpensive though, right?
It's less than $100 and it includes dinner and a t-shirt.
Okay, that's a pretty good deal. It's a hard deal to get these days.
Yeah. So
that's another reason you can join the podcast, join the Discord, because you can hear us complain about how t-shirts are like $40.
Yep.
So if you're getting
additional t-shirts and your co-driver's dinner are not free, but they will be provided pretty much at cost if you want extras.
I mean, that's still pretty cheap.
Listen, we're not trying to get rich with this thing. We're just trying
all about that value.
Yeah, we're just trying to have a good time. Salesman Andrew is on fire tonight.
Yeah, I'm not a good salesman because I couldn't sell the registry and give me that plate.
Right, and I'm not a good salesman because I'm selling you everything at cost.
Yeah.
Damn it.
All right, cool. As always, keep cars analog and aim for the roses.